Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm trying not to be too loud to disturb people who are eating, but today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm bringing you guys along to try out a restaurant. We're going to be going to ATLA. This is one of Enrique Olvera's restaurants. I've actually had the privilege to visit Cosme here in New York City several times, and even Pujol in Mexico City back in 2017. If you don't know who he is, you might just want to look him up. He's one of the top chefs in Mexico in bringing really Mexican cuisine. His chef that he works with is Daniela Soto, who I believe in 2019 was named as like the top world's female chef. So it's really impressive. I've never tried ATLA, and this is more of like their casual sort of like cafe-like restaurant. It's not as formal as Cosme and Pujol. So we're just going to be trying out some food today and see how it goes. Miren, nos van a dar la mesa ya. Sí, gracias. ¿Ready? So I'm just browsing through the menu. One of the cool things that Enrique Olvera always does is that his restaurants are not plant-based by any means, but him and Daniela really emphasize using vegetables, which is, traditionally Mexican food was very plant-based if we are thinking of like pre-Hispanic times. So there's a couple of things that if you are vegetarian or vegan, you'd be able to choose from the menu and even omit like things like the cheese that's on top or the cream. It's looking pretty traditional. We came for brunch today, so they have more of like a traditional brunch menu. They have the conchas, they have tlacoyos, huevos rancheros, chilaquiles, guacamole, and then some more like Americanized sort of things. ATLA is known to be a little bit more of a fusion of Mexican food, so they do have lobster burrito and some quesadillas, and even some tacos. But everything's looking pretty good. So I myself, as you know, and I've shared with you on this channel before, I do eat eggs from time to time, so I asked for the huevos rancheros with no dairy, so there's not going to be any cheese or the cream that they usually put on it. And we're going to also try out the chilaquiles and the garbanzo tlacoyo, so we'll see how it goes. Gracias.
Dairy?
Con permiso. Gracias. Se llaman tlacoyos. Mira, adentro tienen garbanzo y son como tortillitas de maíz y luego las tienen adentro está el garbanzo. So I'm gonna see what's underneath. So I asked for mushrooms. There's some mushrooms and I can feel, I think, tortillas underneath. There's hoja santa, avocado. Oh, there are tortillas underneath. It's not spicy. It's very mild. It almost tastes like a mole. It's just like a chile rojo. It almost tastes like my mole de olla sauce. If you haven't seen that recipe, I'll link it in the description above. Let's try the mushroom. The hoja santa gives it that earthiness. All the flavors are super traditional. It's probably not how you would see this dish be served at a, like your grandma or your mom. They probably would not serve it like this at home, but all the flavors are super traditional. So here we have the guacamole. I love the fact that they just, instead of doing totopos, they actually gave us a tostada, which is more traditional. But let's go ahead and try it out. I know it's supposed to be really herb heavy. I love that it has a lot of lime juice. I find that sometimes people really forget to add the acidity to a good guacamole. And I also love the fact that if you can tell, they're using some cilantro macho, which is, to me, it has a better flavor than the one that's traditionally found in most grocery stores. Here we have the chilaquiles. This is supposed to be flaxseed tortilla, so it has some flaxseed built into or added onto the masa. And there's also some mushrooms, some crema, and some avocado. I'm not going to be tasting the dairy, but I do want to taste an actual chilaquile with the sauce to see how that is. So let's try to grab one on the side. No, that one has some. I don't think I can grab one. Hold on. I think I got one right here. The green salsa is really, really traditional. The chips are still really crispy, and it's just a solid chilaquile. So here we have their version of a concha. So if you don't know, conchas are one of the most traditional Mexican sweetbreads. These are a little bit different than typical. So we're told that they actually have some orange blossom peel and I guess an extract on them. So I'm pretty excited to try them out. They're super tiny. Normally conchas are like this size, so this is like half, even a quarter of the size of some of the ones I've seen in the past. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, you can actually see the orange peel. Soft? Ready? Pretty soft.
Or whatever, like something that. What do you taste?
It's real. The orange is really prominent. It tastes more like an orange bread, but you still get some of the concha. Very brioche-like. And the streusel is really nice. It's just sweet enough. So it's pretty traditional in the sense that it's not too sweet. So we just got done, and I wanted to come out here and just share a couple of my thoughts on what the food was like. I would say that if you're in New York City, you probably know that it's pretty difficult to find really good traditional Mexican food. There are a few restaurants that really have those flavors of Mexico, and I would say that this place does a really good job of that. I definitely think they're playing it pretty safe on the dishes. They're definitely not as innovative as Pujol, of course, in Mexico City, and nowhere near like the fusion that Cosme does on their dishes, but everything was really traditional and it tasted great. The flavors were well balanced, and again, they're staying true to the traditional ingredients of Mexico. There were a couple of dishes that they play around with, but if you're vegetarian or vegan or plant-based, you're not gonna see much of that fusion that they're doing, like with the lobster and whatnot, that I didn't get to taste, so I can't speak on those dishes. I will also say that if you are plant-based, and especially if you're vegetarian, you're going to find several different dishes that you can try and still get that feeling of what traditional Mexican food tastes like. So overall, I think this is a great place to come, and especially if you live in New York City and you're looking for something that's traditional and not Americanized Mexican food, then this is a great spot to come and have some great Mexican food.